Yo, pull up a chair, let the real talk begin. Faith on the table where the brothers lock in. Life gets heavy, but we stand our ground. Truth in the room when the circle comes round. No mask, no front, just real man here. Talking about faith through the doubt and the fear. From the grind of the week to the lessons we share. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair. Men's round table series, step inside. Real men, real faith where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair.
What if the principles that create world-class athletes could also transform the way that we lead, work, and live? Today's guest is the internationally recognized authority on sports science and human performance. Excited about this conversation. A Hall of Fame coach, scientist, and entrepreneur. He's co-founded also Johnson & Johnson's Human Performance Institute. Let's welcome Dr. Jack Groppel to the stage. Dr. Jack.
Hey, how are you?
Good to have you here, man. How are you?
Great, thanks. Excited
All
for
right.
that.
Same here, sir. Same here. All right. So let's jump into it. So your career seems to be focused on one central question, Dr. Jack. How do we help people perform at their highest level? I'm a high-performance coach. I try to live, a high-performance life in areas. Love to hear what you discovered about human potential that most folks misunderstand.
Yeah, it's fascinating. In the early 80s, I developed a concept called the corporate athlete because we learned so much from world-class athletes and how they perform and how they train. And the interesting thing is that an athlete, they practice and they practice and they practice, and they actually perform very little of the amount of time that they're involved in their activity or sport. In the real world, we perform and perform and perform, and we really don't practice very much. And that's really an interesting phenomenon right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why that is, but maybe we can get into it before the show's over. Maybe we have some semblance of an idea. You spent years studying elite athletes, and then you help corporate leaders kind of apply some of the same principles. I know that those are two different worlds. They have some similarities, but what do you think would be the biggest similarities between a world-class athlete and somebody who is a leader in that genre, in the corporate space, performing at a high level? Are there some one or two big similarities that you see?
Yeah, they're very lifestyle. Yes, they're very focused on self-leadership and
self-leadership. Okay.
Yeah, they have to do for themselves. The problems are that in both areas they struggle sometimes in their personal lives, but they're uber focused in their professional lives, both the world-class athlete and the world-class corporate athlete.
So here's the question for you, Dr. Jack, as a follow-up.
Sure.
You know that I thought that before you answered it, but how are you helping them with that? Because it's nothing wrong with being focused, having a single focus, but to some degree, it can go into an extreme place.
Yes.
Where relationships suffer. Are you that part of your capacity? Do you help them with that part, or do you kind of just help them point to it and help them get maybe help from elsewhere? Are you involved in that process?
You actually nailed the word. You said the word capacity. And what we have to do as individuals is step back and assess where are we physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And then what is our capacity? Because, it might be really, really good physically. For example, a world-class athlete, they have a really high purpose to why they perform, why they want to fight, why they want to compete. They're extremely fit. So physical and spiritual for the world-class athlete, and spiritual doesn't necessarily mean faith, it just means purpose-based, but they're on a mission and they have an incredible stress there. Then they have mental and emotional stress as well, but the world-class person in life and in the corporate world, they don't really do very much in the physical and in the spiritual, we find. They really spend most of their life in the emotional and mental areas. So it's assessing where you are and where you might be a little bit deficient and where you could get better.
I get that, Dr. Jack. One thing I think is a challenge for me to kind of understand, maybe you can help me out with a little bit, whether it's even in coaching space, talking to a client or counseling somebody in a spiritual basis. The idea of kind of not only walking in excellence, but sustaining it. I never really heard anybody give a practical way of doing that.
Yep.
We know we have to. I don't
Mhm.
care if you're an athlete. It does definitely apply in athletics. I'm a big fan of athletes. I was a former one to a lesser degree. So I get the need for sustained excellence. I'm sure it's the same in the corporate world. I saw when I was with the government. It was a big part of what we were doing.
Yep.
But is there a practical way to sustain excellence? Because it sounds like it's really a lofty goal that normal people can't fulfill. Is that
I think I can help you with this one.
Okay.
It's
Right.
understanding that a human being is a biological organism. We are biological beings. So that's why the physical is so important. And we get the physical. We know we have to sleep, and we know we have to eat, and we know,
Yes.
we get it. We get the physical, but we're also the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, what I talked about. But here it is now. See, we cannot be, remember when we were kids and we tried to find the flattest rock possible and skip it across the pond or the lake.
Oh yeah.
See how far
Good
we can
times.
skip it. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of people live their life. We're like that rock skimming across the surface of the water, just go, 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 go. And we can't go deep in our lives. So we're linear. That's the word. It's linear. Well, linearity here, again, now stay with me because I'm going to try to do this real quickly. EEG from the brain looks like this. EKG from the heart looks like this. EMG, electromyography from the muscle, looks like this. Nothing in life biologically looks like this. When it does, you're dead. You don't have problems anymore. When you're linear, so think about how we live our life. If we live our life in a linear way, just go, 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 we don't have the energy. So what we have to do, and here it is, to increase your capacity, you must be able to recover and recapture energy in all 4 dimensions. So you learn to be really good in recovery. And this is where the world-class athletes have really taken the world by storm in understanding this in the last 50 years, that recovery has to be scheduled as much as training. Because what happens is stress is the stimulus for growth. Recovery is when you grow. If you have no recovery, you have no growth.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah, that's a mic drop.
I love talking peak performance because I really feel like even if you're not an athlete, there's definitely some applicability, if I can say that, to that. In your research, biomechanics, performance science, things I find very interesting. I'm a big fan of sports science and sports psychology. I really get into it. I really geek out about it. You work with organizations that deal with athletes at the highest level. What do you think now? This could be sports, this could be in the corporate world, this could be in a regular space, coaching, whatever it is that we may do that we're very passionate about. What separates the average performer from somebody who's exceptional, especially at the highest level of pressure? What separates them? Are they separated you can see?
Yeah, there are. They are uber focused as far as sense of purpose as to why they're doing what they're doing. That is by far. Then the greatest ones are not afraid of making a mistake, and they're not afraid of losing. They don't want to lose, but they're not afraid of losing. And that, you show me somebody that's not afraid to lose, that's a very dangerous competitor. You don't want to play against somebody that's not afraid to lose, because they'll just do everything.
So let's look at that real quick.
Yeah.
Somebody who's not afraid to lose. Tell me what are some identifiers of that kind of mindset? What do they do that people who are afraid to lose would not do or don't do?
They'll have the attitude that you might get me today, but it might be the only day you ever get me. That's their attitude. It's an attitude that you bring to what you do. Whatever it is, you might get me today. And okay, you got me today. Maybe you won't get me tomorrow. I mean, that's literally how they think. You might say that's cockiness. Not necessarily. It's just the highest level of confidence. It's not cocky necessarily. It's the confidence level that they develop, that they trust the process of their training. They trust the process of their training so that, you might beat me today, but I'm going to learn from this loss and I'm going to be better tomorrow and I'll get you.
See, that's the part right there. That last part you just added in. Now you provided another question for me to ask you that wasn't on my original list. So when somebody prepared now, that's the way I think about stuff, especially from a competitive room. I was always like that. I really thought something was wrong with me because I would analyze and overanalyze. I still kind of do that in some situations. Overanalyze those things where I misstep. Oh, you know what? I should have went this way instead of going that way. Should have did this instead of doing that. But I think part of me just being honest and transparent on my own show, it didn't sound like it was healthy for me to go into that space.
So you didn't think that was healthy?
Or am I missing something?
Okay. So you got to understand what my background. I'm old enough that I was one of the first people ever doing high-speed cinematography with world-class sports. So this is way before video. So now all these teams and organizations have these uber, budgets to do video analysis. When I'm doing this, I'm being told by managers of professional baseball teams, do not let the players see these films, because they were afraid of paralysis by analysis. They didn't want the players overthinking. So now let's get into what you're talking about. See, the fact that you had so much confidence and you could execute, and then, okay, maybe you didn't execute today as well. Maybe it's because you had a disagreement with a loved one, or you didn't sleep well. Or there might be a lot of reasons why. Maybe you didn't manage mistakes well today, but there's the idea that you're going to grow and get better because of what you did. And that's why video and replay is so important now. When somebody says, the interviewer says, well, how are you going to play better tomorrow? Well, right away, they all say, I'm going to look at the video. I'll be looking at the tape tonight. And, and that's common phrase now. You got to understand, what I'm getting in the field way back in the 70s and 80s, that was unheard of. You didn't do that. So, I was told literally when I was working with base running with a professional team, I was told, do not let the players see these films. And yet what happened was, because I had the camera set up behind third base and I was looking at sliding, and we published this in a peer-reviewed journal. But what happened was I got the films developed overnight. You're going to love this. And when I got the films, I went, oh my gosh. I called the first base coach, who became a dear friend of mine. I said, you got to come look at these films. He came to my room. I've got this big projector. He's looking at it. Oh my gosh, we got to show the manager. And I'm going, no, we don't, because the manager doesn't like me. This guy was cursing at me yesterday, because of the films. They don't want this around the films. When we get there, we show the manager, the coaching staff. Guess what? By accident, we got the pickoff move of the opposing pitcher in high-speed film.
Wow.
And the manager goes, can you shoot films again today?
Wow.
And this was before video ever existed. But until they saw something that they couldn't see with the naked eye, they went, oh my gosh, we can get stronger. So think about capacity. We know what to identify. Maybe it's a belt buckle. I'll look at the belt buckle on the pitcher, and if it moves toward first, he's coming here. Or if it goes home, I know I can go. And then it's a matter of understanding the first step. Is it a pull in or a jab step? I had so much fun doing this in the 80s. It was amazing.
I wish I could have been in the room. That sounds like great stuff. Right down my alley. All right. Yeah. We're down to one more question because I can't ask you this. So I won't ask. So, all right. So at the end of our show, we normally go into a mirror check, but this show is primarily for male audience. So I want you to speak to the people who are watching, listening, to husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons who may be in a place where they are listening or they will listen on replay, and they know they have more potential inside of them, Dr. Jack. They know that they haven't consistently accessed that potential. When they're looking in the mirror, what are they asking themselves? What would you say to them if you had them in the room with you? How would you help them? Whether they're an athlete, whether they're a competitor in the corporate realm, or they're competing against the guy in the mirror, as an entrepreneur, as an author, as a content creator. I got all those folks that watch this show, podcasters. What would you say to them to kind of help them access that potential? And you can break it down as much as you need to. Go ahead.
I love this question because I wrote my memoir this year. It came out this year called Mountains Within. And the reason I wrote it, I could have never written this before because of because I was very vulnerable. And what I want everybody to understand, all the men listening, I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was doing everything right. And I wasn't. I was struggling with relationships. And It was
Wow.
until I hit rock bottom in 1996. I was in the hospital, and here I am. I'm well known. I'm flying all over the world. You know, I'm the founding chairman of the Sports Science Committee for the U.S. Tennis Association. I'm educating coaches. I was in the hospital for 15 days with a PICC line into my heart with a staph infection. I had one person come visit me in the hospital outside my family. And I'm going, wait a minute, what the heck? Now, I had people call me, don't get me wrong, but I'm going, wait a minute, what's going on here? And I realized that I wasn't, even though I was excelling in performance, I wasn't investing energy in other people's lives. And I said, that's got to change. So I went down this faith path. I recommitted to my faith. And then in 2008, I went to China by myself and I adopted my son. And I think God has a sense of humor because he's going to send this man in his 50s to China by himself. They're going to put a screaming 3.5-year-old in his arms that doesn't want to be with him, that's screaming in Mandarin that he's being kidnapped.
Oh, boy.
And the father cannot speak Mandarin and the child can't speak English. So all you've got, this child's been in an orphanage for 4 years. All you've got is facial expression, tone of voice, and touch. That's all you've got. And in 2 weeks, we're going to teach you two how to love each other.
Oh, my goodness.
So now here's my recommendation to all the men listening. Calibrate every day with the question, what matters most right now? Because sometimes we often go down this path. You know, I was the breadwinner, but I wasn't giving energy to my loved ones. I was getting on planes more than I could have, if I would have answered that question. I didn't have to get on all those airplanes.
Definitely
What
not.
matters most right now? And you could even do this at lunch or at 3:00 in the afternoon. If you've got a child and they've got a concert and you've got a call coming up at 4, okay, can you reschedule that call? Or can you do something so you don't miss your child's concert? Because what matters most right now will help you calibrate the next step you take. And that's why I wrote my memoir, Mountains Within.
Good stuff, sir. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing such a great story and indulging me in my sports fetish. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much, man.
It's so great to be with you. Thank you.
I got your link up on the screen. It's a long one, so I won't try to read the entire thing. So if you're listening to the show but not watching us yet, it's in the show notes. It'll also be in the comment section. You can grab this very long link to find Dr. Jack and his work. I'm excited about hearing what people think about what you've been doing, even on this show. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, let's do it again sometime.
Sir?
Let's do it again sometime. Okay.
Anytime you'd like, sir. I love that. So for those that are watching this, hope the episode resonates with you. If it does, share it with somebody who's committed to becoming better, leading stronger, unlocking their next level of performance. You can reach Dr. Jack at that link. It's in the comment section and in the show notes, of course. I don't know if you subscribe to our YouTube channel and this show, They Call Me Mr. U and the Men's Roundtable Series podcast, or wherever you get your podcast from. I'd love to keep the conversation going. And don't forget, before we sign off, the difference between you and who you are and who you'll become is found in what you do every single day. Thanks again for being a part of the conversation. That's Dr. Jack. I'm Mr. U. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching and listening. Husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons, this is your episode. Have a good
Men's Roundtable Series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the Men's Roundtable, pull up a chair.